What's up, everybody? It's your boy Shark Out of Water here again with a new video. Hopefully everybody's been good since the last video. Thank you all for tuning in, and those who have subscribed, I appreciate y'all. Just hope everybody is doing well and praying to the Most High every single day, seeking His love and His favor and His guidance. But without further ado, let's talk about today's video. If you heard about this experiment before, leave your thoughts below in the comments, please, because not a lot of people realize this actually occurred and this was actually a thing. So let's talk about it, let's start a conversation. But as always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're really rocking with this content. I appreciate y'all and God bless. But let's get going with this video. The Stanford Prison Experiment, also referred to as the Zimbardo Prison Experiment, was a controversial psychological experiment performed in August 1971 at Stanford University. It was designed to be a 2-week simulation of a prison environment that examined the effects of situational variables on participants' reactions and behaviors. Stanford University psychology professor Philip Zimbardo managed the research team who administered the study. Zimbardo ended the experiment early after realizing the guard participants' abuse of prisoners had gone too far. So Philip Zimbardo, he recruited a team of people to conduct this research to basically run a prison experiment on the people who run prisons and the people who are in prison, to see their psychology behind it. And this brings up my point: are people inherently good or evil? What do you think? If you heard of this experiment, make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about this, because not everybody knows that this even occurred. Like, digging through history is a fun thing for me, which I enjoy doing, and sometimes you'll be surprised at what you find. This is one of those examples. Participants were recruited from local community through an advertisement in newspapers offering $15 a day, $119.41 in 2025. So, hey, that wasn't too bad. You know what I'm saying? Not too bad. That's what $15 was back then. That's crazy. To male students who wanted to participate in a psychological study of prison life. 24 participants were chosen after assessments of psychology stability and then assigned randomly to the role of prisoners or prison guards. So some people became prisoners, some people became the jailers or the people in charge of maintaining the order, and they assigned it randomly. So that takes away from the intention to mess up the experiment, I feel like, because if you go into the experiment saying, hey, I want to be a jail guard so I can mess with people, or I want to be a prisoner so I can cause anarchy and rebel and cause riots and stuff. Like, if you had that notion going in and you were randomly changed at the last moment, that can put a sense of randomization in the experiment, I guess you could say. So it was a little bit more fair, in my opinion. Critics have questioned the validity of these methods. Those volunteers selected to be guards were given uniforms designed specifically to de-individuate them, so take away their personality and what makes them them. And they were instructed to prevent prisoners from escaping. The experiment started officially when prisoners were arrested by the real police of Palo Alto. During the next 5 days, psychological abuse of the prisoners by the guards became increasingly brutal. After psychologist Christina, I'm not going to try to say that last name, visited to evaluate the conditions, she was troubled to see how study participants were behaving, and she confronted Zimbardo. He ended the experiment on the 6th day. The experiment has been referenced and critiqued as an example of an unethical psychological experiment, and the harm inflicted on the participants in this and other experiments during the post-World War II era prompted American universities to improve their ethical requirements and institutional review for human experiment subjects in order to prevent from being similarly harmed. Other researchers have found it difficult to reproduce the study, especially given those constraints. A name that I'm not going to try to pronounce here has established that the guards were asked directly to behave in certain ways in order to confirm Zimbardo's conclusions. So they did it to reaffirm Zimbardo's thoughts and ideas, not to be a scientific experiment. It's a lot of bias here. So they're trying to say that Zimbardo, the person that's in charge of the experiments, had already the answer to the experiment and was low-key trying to influence the outcome of this experiment to go in his favor. That's not real science. It's trying to inflate your own ego, if you ask me. Just imagine if we didn't have rules, if we didn't have morals, and if we didn't have God in our society. It would be total chaos. People making up stuff, trying to justify it, and you got people trying to back that person because they favor one person over this person who's telling the truth. And so they're going to do things that are totally against morals as a society and morals as children of God. You can't do things like that and expect people to behave in a humane way, So I feel like this experiment, even though they say that Zimbardo had an influence over the decisions being made, this also tells you that Zimbardo himself, who is an educated man, may have had a cynical view on the justice system in a whole. It's many things you can take away from this and really sit back and think. Like, why would you participate? Like, what would make you want to sign up to be a prisoner or be a jail guard, unless that's already your profession? Like, either you're a criminal. I'm pretty sure no criminal wants to go to jail unless they're, something is in jail that they want.
We met Fleece Johnson, a longtime inmate who practices a very different kind of homosexuality.
But we have sexual desires, right? So you got a bunch of men locked up in one place. All of them got sexual desires, so what are they gonna do? You won't let them have a woman. They gonna have somebody's gonna have to give us some booty. And it's just that simple.
But or you don't choose to be a jailer unless you go down that career path. And shout out to people who've chosen that as a career path. But it comes to question, like, what was their motives going into it? What were the mindsets of the people that were chosen? And let's look at the man running the experiment. Like, we take those two factors, we can break up this experiment into easy to digest portions. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to who's running the show and how it's being run. Simple as that. We're going to chalk it up to either you're going to choose to do good things or you're going to choose to do bad things. I feel like you should be punished humanely, of course, unless there's something that you need to be unalive for, and that's a whole nother topic in itself. But I feel like everybody who is alive deserves to be treated humanely. Prisoner or not, hospital, schools, everything. I feel like everybody should be treated fairly and evenly according to their merit and their deeds and just how they carry themselves. Like, not because of their color or social standing, but we're all born equal. We are all children of God, but unfortunately, some people choose to live a life of crime or live a life of violence and debauchery. And that's very unfortunate. So we have to have punishment set in place for those type of people. But we need people who are honorable, have a sense of morality, even when no one is looking, to run those systems. Do I feel like we have it? I'm gonna leave that to God to really answer that. But you know, that's not up to me. I can't sit here and judge every single judge, executioner, prison warden, all that. That would take many years to do that. And even then, like, I'm not God. I don't know everything. So I can only hope and pray that prisoners and people who are being detained are being treated fairly, and they have the law on. They have the law at their disposal, just like a free person would. You know, if you're incarcerated, you have the same laws as a person who is not incarcerated. Is basically what I'm trying to say. What do you think about this? Did this really open some people's eyes? Did it make you want to look this up for yourself and really dig deep into this? Because there may be some things I probably didn't cover in this video because I wasn't trying to make it super long. How do you feel about this? Like, what are your thoughts? Have you heard of this? What would you do if you were in this position? Like, I want to hear it all. Let's start a conversation. Let's talk about it. Other than that, I'm in the video around here. Hope you enjoyed this content, and I will be doing more videos like this in the future. Just whenever I feel like it, pretty much. But if you have any suggestions, of course, hit me up on TikTok or Instagram. DM me some ideas of some things you might want me to go over, as long as they're biblically related and something that is YouTube friendly. With that, I hope you all have a great day, great morning, great night, whenever you see this. And I hope God blesses you and your family. Continue to seek Him. Read the Word at least twice a day. And yeah, just keep it holy, y'all. It's your boy Shark Out of Water. Peace out, man.